Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's live stream. Tonight is question time, which is a live show about Unreal Engine 4 or 5 rather in this case now, and game development. So if you have any question you want to ask, you just put it into chat and I'll try and answer as many questions as I can within the hour that we're here today live. I want to say hello to everyone who's joining us live right now. Hello in chat, we've got Meg Twin Base chat. Hello, how are you? So start putting your question into chat and where we go. Whilst we're waiting for some questions to turn up, I'll give you a little announcement about what's happening on Saturday. So Saturday's live stream will be a Let's Create. And in Let's Create, we take a game that is existing and we try to recreate an aspect or mechanic from that. And this Saturday, we're going to take a look at God of War and we're going to try and recreate the AI companion that you see with Atreus. Okay, so we're going to try and do that on Saturday. So make sure you come by on Saturday to see us try and figure that out live on stream. Hi, Paul. How are you? Good to see you. We might as well just jump straight into the Unreal screen here. Here we go. Meg Twin with the first question. At what point do children of a base class need their own animation blueprint? When the animation itself is going to be drastically different, or if it's a different skeleton. But if you're doing like just humanoid characters only, you can probably get away with using just a basic animation blueprint. And even then you can make children of the animation blueprint as well. When you do that, you can expose certain things to variables and then make them customizable. So for example, if I looked at the animation blueprint of the Manny character here, okay, and if I go to the animation graph on this thing and go into, say it's idle for example, I can click on the idle here and I can go right into over here to where it says sequence. This would be the animation sequence I want it to play. Where it says bind, click on that and you can do expose as pin. And then you can promote that to a variable. Okay, and that'd be the idle sequence. So then if I want to make children of this, I can easily do so. So make a child of this. Open it up. And if I go to the class defaults, you'll see in there, idle sequence there. I can change that to whatever I like. But it does have to be the same sort of skeleton. So if it isn't the same skeleton, then you do need a separate one entirely. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Okay. Paul V3D, what do you think of the new 5.1 features and improvements? Obviously, I think they're great. There's a lot of quality of life stuff I'd really like to look of. I haven't got 5.1 installed yet on here. But the nanite foliage stuff was always a bugbear of mine with the nanite system, and seeing that being utilized is going to be great. The option to make nanite, landscapes use nanite is also really cool. You get the power of nanite through that in your landscapes. I mean, we can have hyper detailed landscape designs, which is really cool. And a lot of quality of life stuff I really liked as well that they showed off, like the animation keyframe bars and the slight organization of the Niagara system setup is pretty good too. No major like wow features, but definitely a lot of cool stuff to make life a little bit easier. Hi. Oh, I could not stop yawning. Sorry, I'm so tired. Hi, Untextured. Hi, Bartisus. Macarmoni. Hi, Ryan. Will you cover foot locking? I've lost it. Moved. Will you cover foot locking in the future? It's an awesome technique for preventing foot sliding, and would really love to see your take on it. I mean, never say never. I can't say it's on the immediate to-do list to do stuff like that. There's a few animation things that would be really cool to do stuff on, like motion matching, for example, as well. But right now, no plans immediately for it. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, but I'll keep it in mind. Hunter, is it possible to create a character creator system within UE5 which creates characters from the user's image with a photo upload? Not out the box. No, you need to make some custom code AI API system to do that. That's going to be tricky. Yeah. So I can't help you with that one because that is outside my wheelhouse. That is something quite advanced. As I said, there's no built-in stuff. You need to do it, create it all from scratch yourself, or buy someone else's license. The untextured. My question is to do with loading and saving. If you want to save object references, say for example a cable having references to two connectors, what would you say is the best way to handle it? Okay. So it depends. Obviously, everything you're trying to save is going to be a bit different. But if you're doing like the cable example, you want to have a struct. Oh my god, I could not stop yawning. So whatever your is, I mean, I don't know the context you're trying to do, but you make a structure for it, and cable load data, for example. And in here you'd have the cable reactor itself, like that, and you do attach A, and that'd be a component. That'd be a scene component, just to be a bit more specific. Loads scene component. There you go. And then again, attach B, another scene component. Okay. And if you want to do other things like the length of it, so cable length, can do like so. And yeah, this thing would be an array of all the different cables you have, or if you're doing it on per actor, I don't know, it depends on what kind of system you're doing. But you take that struct of data, you save it into that struct. I'm not going to do it now because I have to build a whole save load system, which is long. So, I mean, what's the easiest way to show this? In the game mode, probably. Yeah, so in your, imagine this is our save game file. References save, yeah, but one thing I forgot to do that you should make sure you do. Put it in here, now. Is actually make this a cable actor. Actor soft object reference. Do that one, and it'll be better. Okay. Yeah, so you have this array of this cables. Cable load data array, and then you just go do a for each loop on these cables. It doesn't have to be an actor either. You could actually just store different. You don't actually need the class, do you? You can just spawn them in dynamically. Yeah, to think about it, you don't actually need to save the actual actor. You don't actually need this cable here at all. You just need attach A, attach B, and cable length. That's all. And then you just go for each on this and spawn each one, attach it to each one like that. So, yeah, it's as simple as that, really. So, for each loop, spawn cable. Spawn actor class cable. I should put also just transform in. I haven't done that, but yeah, you could do that. And you do set attach N2, which this is an actor, not a scene component. Sorry. Who you're attaching it to, and then start point will be whoever you're attaching it to there. It'd be something like that. Okay. Hopefully that gives you a good starting point for this. Yeah. The Jolly Grim Reaper. If you wanted to import models FBX at runtime, How would you do it if your goal was to build entire worlds using this method? You can't use a plugin. It would have to be a plugin. Yeah. Because there's no, and that'd be. I mean, I don't know what the hell you're trying to do, but I would not. That's not ideal, obviously, to make people load in FBX files. But if you are, then yeah, plugin's the way you have to do it. But what if the attachments are also saved and loaded objects? Those definitely do not persist in references. No, their settings don't. But if you want, you can just, rather than having cable load data here, you can have the building block as an actor here, with the cable attached B, where they're going. I don't know, something like that. I guess it's hard to know without playing around with it intensely, but I would imagine it's something like this. You're basically storing. You're gonna have to store the attach A, attach B in some kind of fashion. Maybe a reference to the individual building block you're attaching them to. It shouldn't matter too much, really, because these are gonna the cables are gonna be spawned no matter what as separate actors, separate from the actual building blocks. Just treat the cables as separate actors. Wishing Well Studios, do you know how to scale emissive materials in UMG? Glowing icons and text. Yes, you can't. The emissive material is it's not a screen space thing. It's a world space thing. You can't do it on a UMG. So if you want anything to glow, you're gonna have to make it glow in Photoshop, bring it in as a PNG, and that's the way you do it. There's no way to control it other way. How can I make other characters use input for my character without unprocessing? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's show you that. Let's add. You see an example of this, maybe with the AI stuff I'm going to do on Saturday. But if I go into the third-person character here, and in here we do not in here. Sorry, I need to make another actor. I'll tell you what. I'll make another one of these. Hang on. Great. I'll duplicate this one. Okay. This one, I'm going to get rid of all of its stuff on here. Okay. But this one will still have an input on it. So we'll do spacebar. Okay. And we'll take the jump. In fact, actually, I'll first of all make this do it on shift rather than. So let's go do jumping on this, okay? But this is not my character. This is another character in the side of the world, whatever it is. So what you need to do is once you've done that, you need to then tell it to enable input. Now, the situation when you do this is up to you, but I'm going to do it on begin play. Enable input. And this puts it on the input stack. So the player controller can send stuff to it. So if I put that into our scene here. Oh. There. Push play. Oh. Good work. Closed it. That should work. Why is that not working? Get play, begin play, enable input. Left shift jump. Yeah, it should. Yeah. Hang on. Is it because it's a character type? Maybe you can't do it in pawns. It's definitely a follower one, isn't it? Yeah, follower. Ooh. Am I misunderstanding that? Then you do it on non-characters. Then maybe it's a limitation on characters you can't do. Is it a character you actually want to do it on? Bartosus. Yeah, another character. Yeah. Enable input pushes this actor onto a stack of input being handled by the player controller. Yeah. Why is this not working then? I'm not using it for anything else in here. I'm not consuming it, so. Ooh, I don't know. What is it you're actually trying to achieve, Bartosus? Can you let us know? That was my workaround, but that really sucks for localizing text. Yeah, for text you have to make your own font and bring that in. You want it to glow? If you want glowing text, you have to make your own glowing font and bring it in. Yeah, let us know, Bartosus, what you're trying to achieve with the secondary control there. But let's answer Nia Masaki's question. How do you create a working CCTV camera broadcast into a screen? Sure. So we'll create our class actor CCTV. And in here you're gonna have a scene capture. 2D. Like this. On the right hand side here, you're going to scroll down until you find render texture target. This is where it's going to draw what it sees onto. So you're going to go in there and click create a canvas render target. No, not a canvas, sorry, render target. Just want render target. And we'll put that in here. CCTV render. And for CCTV, we can leave all these settings alone. We don't need to change anything on it in this one. Oh, right, Bartosus. Yeah, you use event dispatchers, as Untextured is saying. That's the way I would do that. So when you push inputs, all your minions know who to follow and who they're listening to. So you just tell them to bind an event dispatcher to their leader, and when you push the button, it just calls that event dispatcher to do stuff. Okay, so you got CCTV render there. Then you'll need to make that into a material. Like that. And then we apply that to a object of some kind. So we'll do different class, actor, we'll call this one monitor. Yeah, but a plane. And this is going to have that material, CCTV render material. And put that on there. Okay. And then that's it, you got a TV screen. Hit compile save. Compile save. So now if I put this monitor here. Make it bigger. And we'll put the camera in. You really see it working. It needs to be rotated, the monitor does, but hold on. Just okay. Okay, So there you go. We can see my character on the CCTV. And good as the material, you can make it. You can tint it different colors, do animations on it, whatever you want. Give that sort of camera look and feel to it. This also supports when the camera moves too, so you can move that round. Jolly Grim Reaper with materials. If you're using custom data parameters to determine several different things like color and emissiveness, at what point does batching stop, or is it GPU dependent? Are you referring to Niagara? If you are, it's CPU. Unless you make it GPU based. Depends on the actual Niagara system you're doing. But I don't know how it treats it with the batching. I don't know. Need an engineer to have a look at that. I don't understand that one. Could be wrong now. Could yes, if you're talking about Niagara. I'm not sure if you are or not. Yeah. Templates. Show. What's my templates? I can't. Okay, create empty system. Do. Yeah. Oh yeah, max GPU particle. No, yeah, sim target. There you go. So, by default, it's based upon that. If you're doing Niagara, I'm guessing that's what you're doing when you're talking about custom data parameters. Let me know if I'm mistaken. You're doing it something different with it. But with the materials, I'm pretty certain it just depends on where the material is being used. The untextured. Oh, just remembered, for some reason, some functions in widgets run extremely slowly on pre-construct, but they work fine in normal construct. Do you know why? For example, set ZOrder or create widget nested. I don't know. Like, for some reason, 4 widgets take 90 seconds total to set their own Z order. Not. Yeah, what the hell? No, that shouldn't be taking that long. At all. 4 widgets take 90 seconds to set their own Z order. I think it's got something to do with what you're doing with your widgets more than anything. Not a clue. I'd have to look at your widgets. It shouldn't take that long though. Base chat in some games, when you level up the health stat, the actual size of the health bar increases. How do you go about in creating this effect? Yeah, you just increase the size box of it. Widgets. Okay. Wrap this with a canvas panel actually. So obviously it depends heavily on what your widget is actually inside of. But if it is just in the canvas panel, you can just change its size over here based upon whatever you like. And you can also animate that too. So if you want to animate it, you just go to animations, add animation, gain health, example, add track progress bar, and over here size X, like a little key marker, and I then say 1.5 seconds increases to 700. Key. Oh. Nope, didn't do it. Okay. Track. Why did I do it? Hang on. I haven't added this. Hang on. Add track. I need to add the canvas panel slot. There you go. Now I can do this. Size X. I keep doing that. Not liking me doing this. Okay, hang on. Let's do it again then. So this would be offsets. No, not offsets. I'll take the bit. It's easier to do. Delete that. Wrap this with a size box. Okay, override. Size the content with override here. 500. Keep doing that. Size box. Rack. Width override. Okay. But the percentage it fills up the bar is still a percentage no matter what, so it doesn't matter about the size of it. It's just a visual thing to show the player like, oh, you've got more health. It actually doesn't do anything extra to the health. You have to increase. It's just the percentage of it. So yeah, it will remain the same. But yeah, that's all you do. James Logo really would like to see a bow and arrow tutorial where you have different arrows and materials and also have nice effects. I mean, yeah, can do one day. Yeah. The annoying thing with bow and arrows is that there's a very limited amount of animations available out there to use for bow and arrow stuff. That isn't costing a fortune. If I find some, then yes. Well, I've done bow and arrow stuff before. I've done it live once. Stefan, sorry. Hi Ryan, how would you make an array of weapons using a weapon-based system? Been trying to make weapons equipable for a menu, but been struggling with the array for something. What do you mean you've been struggling with the array? In what way have you been struggling with it? Because it should be just an array of weapon base. That's it. Is it you doing that? You're not seeing all the options available to you? Give me some more information about how it's not working or not behaving as expected. Class won't make an array. What? I don't know what you're doing there, Stefan. But like, if you've got an act, I mean, you can make an array of pretty much anything. So, an actor, object reference or class reference, either way, both of them can be done to an array. See, I don't know where you're going wrong with it. Okay. No problem. Let me close the window. I'm getting a lot of wind and rain for the. Lots of water. Never mind. James Logo would be cool to what would be a cool tutorial review. Buy an asset pack from the marketplace and do a review and show what you can do with them. More like changing the needs with without breaking them. Try to get a lot of errors in Discord does not help. Yeah, so this was like an idea I tried out before with like Asset Flip, a series I started doing. I done like 4 or 5 episodes of it. But I stopped doing it because it would take it was literally taking hours and hours and hours of time for very little payoff. So it's not something I mean, it's something I would like to go back to because it was quite an interesting challenge. And the premise of it was to take the 5 free asset packs you get from Marketplace each month and try to make something out of them within 6 hours. But again, that was 6 hours worth of work, and then editing and all that stuff. And it turned into, it was quite a mission to get those videos done. So I don't know if or when it'll come back. I'd like to. It is fun, but it is like I could spend that 6 hours doing something more productive, and so forth. So, but yeah, I have thought about doing other things like reviewing individual assets on their own and talking about them and what's good and bad about them, what I like about them, and so forth. Maybe that's something I could do. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If that's something you'd like to see done in the comments chat, let me know if that's something you think would be quite a good video series to do. Yeah. Elijah's on my modular character on the shadow can see unshadowed lines where modular parts connecting. How to solve that problem? I would be concerned about your modular parts as they shouldn't have any gaps. If they have gaps, then there's something wrong with your modular system. If done correctly with a correct mesh splitting, it should be okay. You shouldn't see any sort of gaps. But it depends like how you're doing modular pieces. If you're not doing the master pose component or the other method that does something similar, then yeah, don't do it the other way. Like, don't just stick meshes on. Actually use that master pose component or a proper modular system. Yeah, so Barter says, do you have any cool solution to prevent spamming montages when pressing left mouse button? I mean, cooler than is montage playing or boolean that is set true after set. No, you just check if the montage is really playing. That's all. Daniel Glug, hello, how you doing? Hey Ryan, do you have a tutorial on ballistic projectiles like bullets with bullet drop or grenade launching rounds? I mean, grenade launching rounds would be just projectiles, like normal projectiles with gravity on them and stuff like that. Actual, like, fast moving bullets with bullet drop, no, you have to calculate that all manually, I think. I don't think there's a built-in thing for it. You have to work out the algebra yourself to work that out. Hi Ryan, do you review games made by your viewers? I haven't done so really, but I can do. But as I use enums and set them with anim notifiers. I mean, you can do, but that feels like a janky way. I mean, you can just do it in montage playing. If you didn't know, by the way, if you in montage playing, in case you didn't, hang on, is montage playing. Okay, if you leave this blank, don't actually put a montage in, it will return true or false based on if any montage is playing. So, yeah, don't. If you're trying to do it like per montage, then don't. Just leave it blank. Victor NR, have you ever sold or have experienced selling something in the Unreal Marketplace? Yeah, I tried to once, but it got denied and I never got around to doing it properly. Again, so I gave up after that. Maybe one day I'll go back into doing it, but no. It's a pretty simple process. You have to obviously fill out your store stuff and provide images, provide the files, and it goes through a review process. Yeah. RJ, philosophical question. What would be gained by placing an inventory component on the player state? I'm studying multiplayer and finally starting to get the concept behind Blueprint Communications. OMG. What would be gained by placing the inventory component on the player state? I mean, not much. You still have to replicate the component. You still have to replicate its functions. The downside to the player state method, though, is that the client can't see other clients' player states. They can only see their player state. The server can see them all, but they can only see their player state as a client. So if you wanted to do something where people could trading, for example, or something like that, there's no way to access that stuff. So there's that to consider. Cheese Whisk, if you're after a series of ideas, advanced AI behavior, something beyond the usual follow, play, and shoot. Could even do something with squads like Halo. Yeah, that is on the to-do list. So the current behavior system, behavior series is going to be covering. I know it's covering the basics, but it will be going into more advanced things like that. Speaking of AI, if you want to check out, this Saturday we're doing a Let's Create of God of War, and where we take a single mechanic from God of War game and try to recreate it ourselves in the live stream. This Saturday we're going to be recreating, or trying to recreate, the companion AI that you have with Atreus. So having an AI character that not just follows you around, but can also run ahead of you to key things, and you can command them to interact with stuff as well. But yeah. Any other questions? I'll try and get. Actually, I'll put this thing to react to event dispatches. If you. My God, there you go. So yeah, if I go to my player character. On command jump. And when I jump as well, I guess. So I call that, put that on there. And then on my other character, the non-player character, we have the get player character passed to third person character. Find event to on command jump. Okay. So yeah, you do like that. Yeah. There you go. So you can do it with event dispatches. Hi there, would you be willing to do some tutorials on the new smart objects? Yep, by the way, they weren't introduced in 5.1, they were in 5 as well. They are on the list as being part of that AI series, yes. Butters, can you lerp health loss in progress bars with different colours? I mean, your main color goes to a certain value immediately, but a bit darker color, like a background, catches up for it in a second. Yeah, it's called a buffer bar. So if you wanted to do like a background bar, it's 2 bars on top of each other, basically. I've actually done this in my leveling up series I've done like years ago. I actually done that effect, so check that out. It's exactly the same, but obviously inverted for health bars that's going down all the time. So check out that and you'll see what I mean by the buffer bar. Alternatively, if you're a gold member, at least on my Patreon, you can actually download the leveling up system that I've provided in September. You can download that as part of your gold subscription and you can see it working there. I've lost, hang on. Paul, currently following your inventory series on Patreon. Can I add the inventory component to a vehicle pawn so I can store loot in the vehicle? Yes, you can. 100% can. Yep. Good idea. You put it in like the trunk. Yep. Lottie, how do you adjust the body position in an animation and get it to save? Try a few times and it just nicely but won't save. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. So if I go into my characters here and if I duplicate one of these animations, so let's do run forwards. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate this. Okay, so in this one, let's say I want to adjust the body like you're describing. Let's make him lean forward a bit more. So I'm gonna put the playhead at the start here, go to skeleton tree, find my spine point, and I'm gonna rotate it down like, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna hit key up here. This adds an additive track to your animation, and if you save it, that will now save that position. So now my character is looking like this. Okay. I think that's what he meant when you, based on what you said. Let me know if I'm mistaken. James logo. Hold on, that's a confusing question. Okay. Glad you talked about my next question was on how to have AI interact with a trigger while the character interact with another trigger elsewhere. Have AI do this so that you can do that. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, so it's similar to what you just saw. Yeah. But you'll see more of that on Saturday as well when we give our fake little Atreus child commands to read stuff, pick up stuff. Clog, is there an easy way to make a character transparent, like for a special stealth ability that doesn't completely disappear? No. You're gonna have to make a material that supports this. I would recommend, if you weren't looking for performance, I would recommend using dithering. So if I go into the material here, opens up. Go to the parent one. Okay, so we go to opacity mask here, and we're going to use dither, temporal AA, plug that into opacity mask. Now, the default of this is going to give you even, but what dithering is basically is those little dots instead. And so the alpha threshold, you can make that scale. So we put that into here, create that a parameter, and do it transparency. And default value of that is 1. Save that. And then if I go back to my instance, and it finishes saving. Yep. So you go to transparency here, and you can scale this down, and you can see it fade out. It sort of dissolves away. So that's if you want to do like that sort of see-throughness of. That's the most performant way of doing it. Obviously, you can just put in a make it use transparency, and then use opacity setting if you wish. That's the way of doing it. if you're doing stealth, I recommend doing a bit of refraction on it as well, so it bends light a little bit. But yeah, dithering is the most performant way of doing that. But that's if you like that style. You may not like that detailing. Your favorite deity. How would I make my player follow my cursor when swinging a sword? So if you're swinging a sword on a montage, in Unreal 5, there is a thing called motion warping. You have to enable it on. That can do that. But if you don't want to go through motion warping, which basically adjusts a root motion animation live during runtime, which you can do, it just bends it basically. So you can do it that way, or you can make it so that when you start swinging the sword, it turns to face the control rotation, which is what you're trying to make it do. Your mouse cursor is the control rotation, I'm assuming, based on what you're trying to do, is going to be your control rotation. So just turn your character to face the same way as that in the yaw, and you're okay. Quinn Purcell. Okay, so I'm trying to have an animation play in the top half with different animation in the bottom half, sort of thing. Okay, so oh, I didn't change the thing back, did I? Hold on. So if I go to this animation blueprint, okay, so you've got your layered blend per bone. We're using this. And you're setting up a split probably at the spine, I'm guessing. So spine 02 or 01. So your base pose, like in this case, would be probably like, I don't know. You may have this, for example, default slot going into base pose. Okay. I'll tell you what, we'll do this. We'll do main that goes in there. Slot will go into blend pose there, and that'll go onto there. So the thing it sounds like you may have forgotten to do is you need the same animation. So main states here to go into here as well. Now state machines you can't do 2 connections, you can only do 1. So you have to cache it. So like this is a cache up here, locomotion. So you can search for that. You'll see use cache pose locomotion. Put that in there, and then you put that also in there. So you need those 2 working together. Okay. So it sounds like that's what you forgot to do. But let me know if you've done that and it's still not seeing the right thing. Let me put this back the way it was because it's going to break everything. Oh. Elijah's how to make on the widget. Only to accept numbers. No text allowed. Ooh, I don't know. Let's take a look. See if we can figure it out. So obviously you've got the text box thing. But do we have any way of putting validation check on it? I mean, you could just, I don't think there's a way to do it live as you're typing to ignore non-number keys. So on text change here, if you want to see if this contains any numeric values, put it to a string first. And yeah, so it's numeric. So check if a string contains only numeric characters. So if it's only numbers, that'll be true. Okay, if it's got one letter in it, it'll be false. And then you can make it show like an error message on the screen, or make it turn off the submit button or something like that, based upon that value. So hopefully that is going to be a good workaround for what you're trying to do there, Elijah's. Oh, so sorry. Master Monkey, Mr. Laley, I am following your shopkeeper tutorial, but I can't get a text block to say the amount of gold. It just says text block. Any idea why it doesn't show? If it's not showing, chances are you haven't enabled editable or exposed on spawn. And also make sure that you have got it plugged into the construct or pre-construct and setting the value onto it as it is being created. So check out those areas there to be able to do that. But make sure you can only do that if it is variable. So do make sure you tick this variable box up here, be able to change it. James Logo. How does it work when you're attacking AI characters and they play hit animations, but when they are attacking and you attack, they don't play the hit animations? Oh, you just, I think I'm understanding you correctly. You just do a check to see if any montage is playing before you play the hit animation. So you do any montage playing. So it only does the hit animation if they're not doing anything else. That'd be that. Normally though, I usually put the hit on like a additive animation and make it play additively in their animation blueprint. So no matter what they're doing, they show some sign of reaction to it, and it works quite well. You're welcome, Elijah and Master Monkey. Okay, next question is from Cross Corner. I'm trying to make a custom joystick control for my mobile game where there are 2 circles instead of 1. I'm guessing you're struggling with that. Yeah. Annoyingly, at least when I last looked at it, the mobile input system in Unreal is appalling. So you find that here. The default virtual sticks here. Oh, this one has 2 sticks, I think. 1. Yeah, this one has 2 sticks. What one are you doing then? If I drag my joystick to the first circle, the joystick should start aiming. Huh? You drag your joystick to the first circle. Character should start aiming. What circle? I will say that mobile controls are usually quite bad on Unreal. In the past, I've just made my own using widgets to achieve the same effect. So, I can't visualize what you're trying to do there, Cross. About the right okay, so the right, is it the right stick that you're moving to the other circles to shoot and or aim? I don't know. I'm confused by what you're describing there, mate. Sorry. We're gonna have one more question. If you want to put in their last question, you're more than welcome to. Before we call it a night. So I've got a couple of meetings to go to straight after. Elijah, so I'm just trying to make a widget pop up when trying to separate the amount of item. For example, yeah, 50 apples, press right mouse button, table pops up with type in number to separate the amount you want. So, right, okay. I mean, you can also make it so it filters out all the letters and just shows just numbers. But that would involve going through the string and going through each character to check if they're numeric. Yeah. Master Monkey, would you say it's okay to use tutorials from multiple channels to make things, or should I just be sticking to this channel? I do feel like I've made a huge mess in my project. I mean, okay, so my philosophy is with the tutorials, and it includes my own as well, is don't just copy what you're seeing in the tutorial. Understand what's going on in that tutorial. Okay, use it as a learning tool. When you want to apply it to your game, that's when you should be comfortable enough to like dissect it and take it apart and make your own amalgamation of it. Combining tutorials from other places, yeah, you could get quite confusing because everyone has different styles and different ways of working and so forth. But what's more important is that you're following tutorials that actually teach you how to actually achieve what you have to do. So explaining the reasons why you do things, what things do, and so forth, rather than just copying like for like. So understand that works, and then make it your own. Do your own thing from scratch, okay? And then that way you don't need tutorials to guide you every step of the way. That's the correct way of going about it. Josh Ibar, will we be doing any more of the RTS series? Sadly, I don't think so. There's reasons, yes. But I don't think there will be, at least at this stage. How do you set up flying AI? It depends on what you want your flying AI to do. If you want to navigate into around three-dimensional space, then you have to develop your own navigation system, because there's no built-in three-dimensional nav grid. There's only 2D one, so you have to make your own. Or do some clever like line trace tools. But that will do. Okay, for today. As I said, Saturday we're doing another live stream where we are doing a AI tutorial. Let's create, where we go in looking at God of War's Atreus and Kratos relationship and try to recreate that follower AI that will not just follow behind you but can also run ahead of you, leading where you should be going next. And you also be able to give it commands and assist you in the flow of the game. So come by on Saturday for us to do that live, and we'll figure that out live together. Other than that, massive thank you to all my patrons for subscribing. This live stream plus all my live streams are available to all patrons straight after the stream. Everyone else gets it 2 weeks later. So thank you again everyone for subscribing. Make sure you are subscribed if you're not already, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.